Hi. So, independent of anything else, I have been spending like the past hour plus on this just like online community server of CS2. Cleaning up the entire map of all of its guns and weapons that I could find. And I think I'm pretty much done. Allow me to explain. Sega and I were doing a little bit of Counter-Strike playing because I didn't stream it this week, and the idea to go to a server and just duel each other to practice was brought up. Oh, I missed one. And, we found one in an infinite warm-up, and in infinite warm-up, the consequence of that is that none of the weapons despawn because the world is never reset. So I've been slowly throwing them every little bit towards one location as a means of sort of like ethically disposing of them. I'm kind of envisioning this like viscera cleanup detail. And well, as you can see here, this is kind of my strategy. There are so many pistols because you get a pistol every time you respawn. Not to mention all the other guns and stuff. And I've just been doing this. Vega helped for a while, but then left. A bunch of people showed up and shot each other, making my workload a lot bigger, but they've left. And I think for the most part, this pile is the last bit of weaponry. So to demonstrate my method, you just sort of stand in the pile and then spam drop the weapon, thus moving the pile a little closer. Then when you get to this wall, you can sort of just jump and drop them individually. Sometimes you get two. And you just look around, see if you've missed one. You did. And I think with that, I'll do a little bit of a pass as I sort of ruminate on this. I think that's pretty much all of them. There were hundreds of Glocks at spawn. There were a bunch of USBSs at CT spawn. All of those had to be moved. There was a time where I was using pistols to sort of throw, like take a pistol, shoot a pistol, thus moving it down this road specifically. There were not a lot of guns at Catwalk, I think mostly because people just converged towards long doors and shot there. There were a few over here. There were a lot here. Not many over at B either. I think it was just always ever just one or two people that like show up, shoot each other, get bored, and leave. So as much as you might imagine the entire ground littered with weapons, so much so that it looks like some sort of cobbled street, that only really happened along A. just long doors. That kind of helped. Oh, missed the Glock in the staircase. Glad I found that. The fact that they were all together meant you could easily do this sort of like transportation trick. When there was only like 3, you had to weigh whether it was worth it to transport them as like a bulk or just pick one up and run back and forth. So I'm gonna say with that, I declare victory. And now let's look at all of the weapons that we've thrown over. Look at them all. This kind of gives you the idea of the sheer volume of cleaning that had to be done. I don't know, it felt like something that I could just do, and even if it doesn't amount to anything because eventually the server will close or the map will actually start around, I thought it was just, it felt like I was doing a good thing. Just a nice, simple, repeatable action that made the world better. I've cleaned up these streets in a metaphorical and literal sense. So as a little celebratory thing, I'd like to throw this grenade into the pile. I don't think any of them will fly out, but this is my own celebratory. The last piece of garbage to dispose of. Grenade! Oh, we got a few stragglers. Let's pick those back up. But yeah, I don't know. I'm making a video of this just because I feel like it was a weird, personally meaningful thing. Felt like I was experiencing some sort of philosophical lesson here. I didn't notice that one. Oh, wait. Do an E-style pickup to get under the car. There we go. There's also plenty of guns that sort of get stuck on this lip, because this was where the pile was originally, before Thega showed me I could throw them over this wall. So sometimes you gotta pick up a gun and knock them off. Sometimes they fall back, sometimes they fall forward. Yeah, I don't know. This felt important, like I needed to archive this. Dust 2 has been cleaned. War's over. Oh yeah, that happens every once in a while. The server has to, like, lag out for a bit, all the corpses respawn. Oh! Let's just get some of those off the wall. There was a while where I was like, okay, I cleaned up this area, that's good enough. Or I cleaned up here and despawn, that's fine. But every time I thought about stopping, it was just a little more, and I was like, well, I could just do that little bit. And eventually it all added up to me doing all this. Okay, just a few more on the wall I just want to knock down. See, like, again, I'm just continuing. I just throw this one in. I think I can E that one. Got it. There we go. Yeah, this was nice. I don't know if this will mean anything to you, but it meant something to me, and frankly, I'm the one making the art, so it's up to me whether this matters or not.